everyone. Very warm welcome to all of you. I am Kamal Aluwalia. On behalf of our entire Eightfold team, it's my pleasure to welcome you to our first Eightfold Cultivate Summit. Cultivate is about talent. It's about empowerment. It's about setting up everyone for success. Cultivate is going to become a key part of our mission of providing the right career for everyone in the world. We're building a community of leaders and change agents who are taking action and talking about progress and results. Focus is on doing it better than we have ever done it in the past. Changing our practices to keep up with the changes in our work and our workforce. You will hear from these amazing leaders over the next 2 days, and we are really humbled by the response we are getting from our customers, partners, and industry leaders. And we could have easily extended Cultivate and made it a week-long event. Next time, soon, in person. So let's become future ready. Everybody's talking about reskilling and upskilling, how to stay relevant. This is an individual level problem, a company level problem, and a country level problem. When Ashutosh and I wrote the book, What's Next for You, it wasn't written because we had solved everything. We wrote it because there was an opportunity to share our thinking on how ethical AI can transform how we retain, grow, and build a diverse workforce. Hope was that some of you will choose to solve it with us. Some will choose to do things their own way. That is okay too. But together, we will make faster progress. The problem we are solving is bigger than us. Talking of taking action and showing results, since 2018, we have grown to serve clients and users in 4 continents, 110 countries, and over 15 languages. We have built the first and only AI platform for all talent. For employees, for candidates, for contractors, and for citizens, for everyone. When you think of speed and scale, think of Eightfold AI. We're privileged to serve not only some of the iconic global brands, and you will hear from a lot of them, but also serving State of Indiana, State of New York, Department of Labor and Department of Defense, with transitioning veterans and their spouses, and 110. They're all focused on getting their communities back to work and provide upskilling and reskilling with personalized career paths and corresponding learning paths. It's all about empowerment for everyone. It's about becoming future ready. 110 is on a mission to hire 1 million Black Americans without a 4-year college degree into family-sustaining jobs. Think about it. Most countries would be proud of having the ability to pull this off. You will get to meet 2 amazing leaders who are going to make this happen, Ken Cheneau and Maurice Jones, in front of our eyes. We are privileged to be the AI platform. Next 2 days, let's learn from each other and participate. See what others are doing and sharing with us. Applaud the progress and results so far and what we can do better. We're also proud to welcome Josh Person from Josh Person Academy, Helen Poitwin from Gartner, Betsy Summers from Forrester Research, and Jean Martin from Mercer to deliver keynote talks about becoming future ready. In addition, your amazing leaders and change agents from Chevron, Capital One, Medtronic, Bank of New York, Citibank, Tata Communications, VentureBeat, Klaviyo, Ericsson, Dexcom, Prudential, Business Insider, SAP, Nationwide, Stanford, Network Appliance, Noom, Protective Life, Bayer, SoftBank, Stanford, Micron, Granular, Deloitte, Tata Consulting Services, International Labour Organization, and a lot more. If I forgot anyone, sincere apologies, drinks are on me. But there's more. AI in employment is a big topic. So we've invited Craig Lean, former director of OFCCP, to run a workshop for all of us. So we understand the regulatory and compliance requirements and how we minimize the risk. We are a data company, so we try to measure everything. Let's determine how we measure progress together. When we meet in person, hopefully at HR Tech in Vegas or virtually, I would love to hear how you are measuring your progress with us. With that, it's my pleasure to welcome Ashutosh Garg, our co-founder, CEO, and a great friend. He's a brilliant data scientist who was doing it before it became cool to be a data scientist. He's had a very clear vision of how we can leverage ethical AI to solve employment. If he could help it, this would be solved tomorrow, or even better, yesterday. He's here to share how we all become future ready. Ashutosh, a very warm welcome to you.
Thank you, Kamal.
The floor is all yours.
Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Ashutosh Garg, co-founder and CEO of Eightfold AI, and I'm really excited to be here today. Let me start by sharing my journey with you. As I was wrapping up my last venture, I realized that there are a few primary needs that impact all of us globally. Access to healthcare, food, water, primary education, gender equality, and so on. I would like to add employment to this list. Do you ever wonder why employment is so important? Because most of the problems we know today stem from the fact that many people can't provide 2 meals a day to their own family. For others, when they come home from work, they are not happy because their work was not satisfying, not gratifying, not fulfilling. Back in 2003, I got my PhD from University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign in machine learning and AI, and started my first job at IBM Research, barely 20 years back. After just a year in my job, I got an opportunity to work at Google in their research team on some of the hardest personalization and recommendation problems. And when I told my dad that I was switching jobs, his first reaction was, Ashu, how can you even think about doing that? Because in his generation, they would join a company and stay there for the rest of their career. That was the norm. And yet here I was, after 1 year in my job, working for one of the largest employers in the world and thinking of switching to what in those days was a small and unknown company, Google. But given where the world is going, I won't be surprised if someday, 10 years from now, my 7-year-old son of today asks me a slightly different question. Dad, how can you just work for one company for all 5 days of the week? How can you be employed by just one employer at a time? Because you see, it's just not the nature of the work that is changing. The workforce is changing even faster. In just 3 years, 75% of the global workforce will be millennials. And I can only imagine how they are thinking about their career. For them, it's not about having a job. The prosperity of our society has put them in a position where their career is about impact. It's about what they can give back to our society. This changing workforce and the changing nature of work is profound. There are 4 dimensions to think about. First, the hybrid global workforce is here to stay. This conference is a perfect example. Among all of us, we are virtually covering every time zone in the world. As I am delivering this speech virtually, there are also people here with me physically, but you no longer have to be. You no longer have to have an office in New York to hire financial services people, or have an office in Los Angeles to hire people who know film and entertainment, or in Silicon Valley to hire the best data scientists. In fact, you don't even need to have an office. For that matter, what is the meaning of an office or a headquarters nowadays? I was recently reading about Snowflake. You know where their headquarters are? The home of the CEO and CFO is in Montana. Everything today is global and hybrid, and that is the world we are living in. Second, diversity is not only good to have, but a must-have. Companies with a diverse workforce outperform companies without a diverse workforce by 50% or more. And with the ongoing fierce war for talent, how can you succeed today without embracing everyone, without providing opportunities for everybody. Third, what does it mean to have an employment contract? What kind of employment contract are we providing when 59 million people in the US are freelancers? 50% of the workforce at Google are contractors or freelancers. That is the world we are already living in today. I can't imagine any of you meeting the needs of your enterprise by just focusing on full-time people. And for that matter, as an individual, what is the purpose of a full-time job versus a contract job if you can have your own health insurance? Flexible work is here to stay and only going to grow over time. Finally, let's look at skills. iPhone didn't exist 15 years ago. Blockchain was not popular just 5 years back, and driving may not be required in 10 years from now. Or for that matter, customer support is already declining as a skill, so are numerous programming languages. Skills are changing, and they are changing fast and evolving every day, every moment. Because skills are changing so fast, what we know today will be 50% less valuable in 5 years from now. So these are the dimensions that impact the current workforce. It is global and hybrid. It needs to be diverse, flexible, and it needs to provide people with constant opportunities to learn. How do you handle these dimensions in a way that is not overwhelming? Thankfully, technology can help, and one in particular is promising. I got exposed to technology that all of us know today as artificial intelligence when it was not so popular. I got my PhD in AI and got a fantastic opportunity to work on it at Google, where I had access to pretty much every document available back in those days. And I saw the power of AI in its ability to understand so much data. I'm sure many of you are wondering, what can AI do for me, for my organization? This sounds something new. Actually, AI has arrived. It's already here. When you go to a hospital to get your MRI scans, and it comes with imagery of your body without making any puncture in your body, or when you drive your car and it keeps you in your lane, or when you are making a phone call over Zoom and it is making sure that the audio is crisp on the other side. All of these are examples of AI in our daily lives. It is already here. AI has arrived. While AI is doing all these things, let's remember, AI is not magic. However, its power can have an impact on the way we work and offer employment. AI is the ultimate human scaler. Imagine you're hiring a candidate and you had access to all the data in the world, and you could process it in real time, recall it, analyze it, and you had unlimited time in the day. What could you do? Can you respond to each and every candidate's email in real time? Can you answer each and every question that your employee has in real time? Can you understand what your competition is doing in real time? Yes, you can. You can do all of this and a lot more. However, you don't have unlimited time. You have just 24 hours in a day. And as a human being, you can only recall so much, and even worse, we have our own biases, which stem from our limited understanding of the world. With AI, we can get around most of these limitations. I like to say, no two people in the world are the same, but all of us have shared journeys. We have crossed paths. Now, can I learn from each and every person on this planet so we can create a better understanding of the career paths followed by them? There are less than 8 billion people on this planet, less than 2 billion knowledge workers, of which less than 2 million live in the Bay Area. That's it. At first glance, it seems like a very, very large number, but it isn't. Especially for AI, it is not. Compare this to what Google is indexing on a daily basis with AI. More than 1 trillion documents. In comparison, millions or billions of profiles is a very manageable number. But what makes it hard is the data about these people is distributed, unstructured, and it's difficult to make sense of it because it is noisy. You know, your HRIS systems have less than 10% of the data about an employee. because your employees' data is not in your instance of HRIS. Rather, it is in the workflow system in the enterprise. Whatever CRM you are using for your sales, or the code repository on their engineering side, or task management systems you are using in other functions, spreadsheets, and so on. In fact, your employee data is also in thousands of systems outside your organization, such as professional networks, professional repositories, patent databases, and so on. Now, what AI can enable you to do is collect all this data, aggregate it in one place, and make sense of it, so you can have the most accurate 360-degree profile of each and every employee, candidate, and alumni. What AI can help you understand is each worker, because your role and my role are evolving quickly. Whatever we signed up to do today will change tomorrow. And some people will keep up with it, others will be left behind if they don't adopt or can't. AI can help us understand more than just the nature of our work today. By looking at the people who are succeeding and delivering in my role inside my organization, as well as AI can help me understand what people are doing outside and help me understand what that role entails. It can also build a prediction model to understand how this role will evolve over time, so that not only will I know the people, I will know the work and its changing nature. And once we have that understanding, what can we do? As an enterprise, we can now understand our own people. We can understand what skills they have, what skills exist in the organization, what skills the competition has, where the competition stacks up against us for those skills, who in the company can be reskilled in those new skills, and where they may be lacking. Where we can seek the talent so we can plan our organization and make it future ready. We can now build an understanding of each person in our organization based on what skills they had in the past, what knowledge they have acquired, and what they are doing today. With this understanding, we can also determine their learnability around new skills. So when your CEO tells you, we need to invest in blockchain, or we need to build self-driving cars, or we need to come up with a treatment for this disease, cancer, or something else, you will know where to look. This will help you to hire the right people, and you don't have to rely on their one-page resume, because now you can understand them based on their peer group, their past experiences, their education, what skills they actually have, what skills they can learn quickly, what their learnability is going to be in the future, and more importantly, can they grow and evolve with you in the future or not. With this knowledge, you can also provide succession planning to everyone, because for each person, you want to understand who are the people who can fill their shoes. That is what AI can do for you and your organization. But AI also supports each individual person. With AI, you can help each individual understand their own career. None of us want to keep doing what we have been doing all our life. But what else can I do? All of us have aspirations. Perhaps you want to work in a new function. Maybe you want to be a leader in your own organization, or you may have aspirations outside of your organization. Do you have the skills and the experience to help you get there? AI can help you understand the path to your goal and understand your gaps. And once you understand those gaps, what can you do to fill those gaps? How are you going to acquire those skills, and what about learnability? Because learning is not just happening from the books or from online courses. It is everyday learning. We are learning on the job. But unfortunately, it is not getting captured anywhere today. That is where AI can help you and me capture what we are learning on a daily basis, every moment of the day. And once I understand the workforce, roles, individuals, I can connect each person to the right job. Today, we are fortunate to work with all of you from some of the largest organizations in the world in furthering this mission. In addition, we are also working with state governments to reduce unemployment, so that the individuals who just lost their jobs can discover what other opportunities exist within the state for them. because now AI can help them match to other opportunities that may not have been obvious in the first place. We are working with the Department of Labor and the Department of Defense to match veterans as they are transitioning into opportunities in the civilian world. And we are creating 1 million opportunities for black talent without a 4-year college degree in partnership with 110. When we have AI to help our understanding of people, we can address diversity. Diversity will never get addressed just by keeping records, by giving bonuses to the executive team, by increasing focused recruitment, and so on. While these actions are admirable, they are not enough. Diversity will be addressed when we start giving opportunities to those who have not performed a job before but are perfectly capable of doing it today. When we see each person's potential, regardless of their age, race, gender, disability status, sexual orientation, or any other personal characteristic. By learning from the data for each and every person in the world, by managing our biases, AI can help us understand the potential and capability of each person so that they can have the opportunity they deserve. And that will allow us to invest in our businesses, to stay ahead of competition, to be future ready, and more importantly, to be future proof. Because the change is here. The world is changing, and the world is changing faster than we can imagine. Just a year ago, when the pandemic hit, the companies and organizations that adjusted to the change not only survived, but flourished. And other organizations that couldn't adjust were left behind. So I'm very excited with the opportunity that lies ahead with AI. Our commitment is to be here for you, to work with you, to not only embrace the change, but actually deliver and together enable the right career for everyone in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashutosh, for sharing your story and your vision with all of us. Right career for everyone in the world. So with so much change in our work and workforce, it's important to keep this individual-focused mission front and center for everyone. I'm privileged to welcome our keynote panelists from 110, Ken Chenault and Maurice Jones. Maurice is the CEO of 110. He's had a distinguished career in public service as Secretary of Commerce and Trade for Commonwealth of Virginia, Deputy Secretary of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and as President and Publisher of Pilot Media in Virginia. Maurice, thank you for joining us.
Nice to be with you, Kamal.
I would love to welcome Ken Chenault as well. He's a member of the Working Committee of 110. He's also the Chairman and Managing Director of General Catalyst Partners and former Chairman and CEO of American Express. Ken is also a board member of NCAA, Berkshire Hathaway, and the Harvard Corporation. Ken, a very warm welcome to you as well.
Well, it's great to be here, Kamal.
Ken, would love to start with you. You co-founded 110 last summer with a big, bold, and unprecedented mission to find 1 million family-sustaining careers for Black Americans in the next 10 years. While everybody was horrified by George Floyd's murder, you chose to make fundamental changes to our workforce. You turned that moment into a movement. What drove you to take action?
I think clearly I was very impacted by the murder of George Floyd, and Ken Frazier, who was also one of the co-founders of 110 and just stepped down as CEO of Merck. Ken and I have been friends since law school. And literally, we were talking about what could we do that would have an impact. And obviously, criminal justice reform was very important and needed to be dealt with. Education was very important. But we said we thought that business needed to participate and actively lead a transformation in the workforce. And frankly, the definition of systemic racism is you're doing the same thing and you're getting the same results. And so what we believed is we had to do something that was innovative. And we had to, in fact, do something that was bold. But we also thought that it should be something that the private sector was focused on. without the involvement of government. At some point, we'd love for the government to be involved. But what we said is the private sector needed to do something. And what I'm very pleased about is that literally in a matter of days and weeks, and then months, we have 52 of the largest companies in the United States involved in 110. And in fact, we're able to then leverage the capabilities of an incredible company like Eightfold to work with to really drive achieving the results that we're all after.
So 1 million family sustaining jobs, 4-year college degree not required. Each aspect of the mission has been carefully picked. Tell us how the founders, you, Ken, Charles Phillips, Ginny Rometty, converged on the mission.
The idea was hatched 2 days after the George Floyd murder. And Ken and I set that objective of 1 million jobs in 10 years, family sustaining jobs. And that family sustaining is very important because we wanted people to have mobility. And one of the things that we believe very strongly is when you have a job, and a job, in fact, that you can grow in, what that does to your confidence and therefore the well-being of your family and the community is very impactful. And so our view was that getting CEOs involved, and we reached out to Ginny because I knew from my prior experience of being on the board of IBM that Ginny had a passion for workforce education. We reached out to Kevin Scherer, who was formerly CEO of IBM, Charles Phillip at Infor, and obviously Ken. And then, in fact, we called 20 different CEOs. Of those 20, 18 right off the bat said, I'm in. This is really important. And what was critical is we also enlisted the support of Bain & Company to help develop some of the strategies that we put in place. But very frankly, Kamal, we had a startup mentality because we were a startup. And we still have that mentality. So I think what's very important is 110 was entrepreneurial, it's innovative, and we have audacious goals. And my hope would be 3 or 4 years from now that we will revise that target upward.
Excellent. Love the entrepreneurial passion here. Maurice, I'll turn to you next. What drew you to lead 110 as CEO?
Ken really articulated what has attracted me to 110, which is the boldness of the mission, the presence of, we now have 54 companies and CEOs who are in this coalition, and that coalition continues to grow. And the sense also, in addition to the boldness of the mission, the actual problem to be solved that we're working on really matters. When you look at what's happening in the country today and the access to employment opportunities that are there for folks to get into the middle class, what you see is a pretty stark picture. Without a 4-year degree today, you're really fighting an uphill battle. We looked at data which suggested that if you look at jobs that pay $61,000 or $60,000 and above, 79% of those jobs today on paper require a 4-year degree. If you look at jobs that pay $40,000 or above, 71% of those require a 4-year degree. So we've got this barrier to working your way into the middle class that is terrible for the Black community, which, by the way, 76% of us don't have a four-year degree, but it's terrible for America. 66% of American workers over 25 don't have a four-year degree. So this problem that we're working on, or opportunity that we're trying to solve, is important for Black families. It's important for corporate America's growth. It's important for the country's journey to form a more perfect union. All of those things for me came together.
Maurice, if I could interrupt, I think one thing that's important is this effort, while it is clearly targeted at Black Americans, the reality is, and we're seeing this almost already, is once you change the specifications of the job and you have requirements, the right requirements put in, everybody benefits. Everybody in the workforce benefits. And that's incredibly exciting. And the other point that I would make is there is absolutely no diminution of quality. What we're saying is perform at a high level, but let's get the right requirements in place to make it happen.
Yep, just to build on that, what we're saying is skills should be the primary lens through which we assess talent, the skills to do the work and the ability to acquire the skills to do the work. And that's what this effort is all about. So all of those things went into my decision to jump at this really, really attractive opportunity.
Excellent and well said. You've been on the road talking to the talent developers, the organizers that will help prepare individuals to succeed in family-sustaining jobs. So tell us about the role that they will play across the country in helping us meet and beat your goals.
They are critical. So look, we need the demand side of this equation, which is we need the jobs to be on the table, and we need companies to re-credential, remove four-year degree requirements. And we need companies to turn those or translate those jobs into the skills that they are demanding, skills that they're demanding on day one, and skills that folks will need to continue to build in order to perform at the highest level for quite some time. Once you get that, though, you also need organizations whose job it is, whose muscle it is to actually impart those skills in the talent that we're trying to recruit. So talent developers are going to be really crucial for us to take these skills and translate these skills into boot camps and licenses and certifications and offerings that can impart these skills on and in the talent that we are recruiting. And in addition to that, talent developers are going to be important as people are in their work and need to be upskilled or reskilled or building new skills in order to be competitive for promotions and advancement. Talent developers are going to play crucial roles in both of these areas. And so we won't be able to do this work at the scale that we're talking about without a critical mass of organizations like community colleges, organizations like vocational technical trainers, organizations like our national online platforms that are doing skilling and upskilling and reskilling, HBCUs and other junior colleges. These are all organizations that we're now recruiting and bringing into the family and making sure that we're partnering with them and partnering them with Black talent in order to have a prepared, career-ready talent cohort that can perform in these jobs that we're talking about now.
And I've actually seen you essentially look at the fragmented efforts across the country and really starting to coalesce all onto the 110 platform. So there is critical mass across all aspects. I mean, 52 of the largest employers have already joined your mission. Most of them have already been onboarded onto the 110 platform. How's the reception been so far? What's the feedback so far?
I'll let Maurice cover because he's directly involved. But I think what's very important all about 110 that separates it from some other initiatives is one is the long-term commitment that companies have to, in fact, make a 10-year commitment. They have a target each year that they have to meet on jobs. And very importantly, they have a financial commitment for 10 years. And what we've also required is that the CEO needs to be directly involved. So we have meetings with the CEOs, we have meetings with CEOs and the CHROs. But what's very important about this is that long-term commitment. I think I've been very pleased with both the receptivity and the engagement because people had to make a choice. Some people said to me, boy, I don't know if I can commit for 10 years. And our response was, the only way this is going to work is if you make that long-term commitment. Let's be very clear, the sense of urgency we have in the short term is very, very high, but we've got to have that long-term commitment. But I think that certainly Maurice can talk about some of the meetings and give some, Maurice, examples, not necessarily by name, of companies and their engagement and involvement in 110.
You were asking about the tech platform. The reception to the tech platform by the companies has been outstanding. And I really want to pause and thank Eightfold. You have been our critical partner in rolling this tech platform out and getting these companies onboarded. We have over half of the companies, over half of the 54, or approximately half, have already onboarded and are uploading their jobs right now. And the way in which Eightfold has basically approached helping these companies on board by basically doing a boot camp style effort for them has been fabulous and has made the reception by the companies one that has been truly tremendous in terms of goodwill and excitement. And as I say, companies are doing what we want them to do, which is putting jobs on this platform. This platform, by the way, as you know, will have jobs translated into skills. It will have talent developers. We have now close to half of our endorsed talent developers on this platform, and it will have Black talent and wraparound supports. And ultimately, we will be matching jobs and talent developers and Black talent and talent supports all virtually, all across the country, serving all of the companies that we have on the platform. And that's going to be a tremendous way in which we take what is now a fragmented system and turn it into an ecosystem that can produce the kind of job outcomes and hirings and in promotions at the scale that we're looking for here. So thank you to Eightfold for your partnership on this. Obviously couldn't do this without you.
No, thank you for giving us the opportunity to join you. Absolutely. Aki, let's talk about talent. You had mentioned last week that just amongst the 110 coalition companies, they employ 800,000 Black Americans. How much talent is available outside that they can be hired by the companies actually this summer?
Inside of the companies, there are actually over 850,000 Black talent who are already in these companies, who already have jobs, who represent an incredible opportunity for upskilling and promotions. Already, by the way, the companies in the coalition have already hired or promoted in combination about 2,500. So when you ask about this year, we think by the end of this year, over the course of the summer and into the fall, we will actually have hired and promoted over 10,000, in fact, over 10,500. That's just for this year and our startup year. In terms of talent outside of the companies, you're ultimately talking about millions, because when you put together the talent that's already affiliated with talent developers that we talked about, the talent that is underemployed and unaffiliated with these talent developers. And what I mean by that is Black talent who are in jobs, who are developing skills that make them ready today to take on additional responsibilities and earn additional compensation. There are millions of Black talent across the country that we will be sourcing through talent developers and actually through our efforts to reach out to them directly for the purposes of filling the demand that these companies have. So going back to a comment that Ken made earlier, 1 million is a bold ambition. I believe we actually have the opportunity to exceed that, though, given both demand and supply that we're already seeing early on.
I think that's the amazing part as I'm experiencing in this journey with you both, that you're opening the eyes for everyone on what can be done right under their own umbrella with their current employee base, as well as the abundance of talent around them who are only a couple of things away from actually being extremely qualified for the opportunities going forward. Other thing that I think you're spot on and your timing couldn't be better is we are in a time where the skills that all these companies are looking for are simply not there. Everybody needs to learn these new skills anyways, the digital skills, and become relevant to the jobs going forward. So you're actually unlocking the talent to a world where all of us need to become future ready. So at Eightfold, we talk a lot about hiring for potential. You talk about skills-based hiring, and Ken also touched upon it. What is your guidance to employers who want to change their hiring and growth opportunities for their employees? Because it's a two-sided game, right? Employees need to think differently and the talent needs to think differently. What would be your guidance?
So, Kamal, obviously that is a big, very important question. And there are a lot of layers in the answer of that. It depends, obviously, what state the company is at. And so one of the things that I say is as one looks at the mission of most companies, those missions are very positive and they really want to work with people. But I think what's absolutely essential is if a company wants to be competitive in the long term, they want to get the best of the best from every group. And so one is you have to build awareness with your leadership team of the importance of diversity is not just doing good, and that's important. I think that's a very important objective. But if you really want to be an enduring company, you need to make sure that the environment at your company is one that will be welcoming, will embrace people, because you want to be successful for the long term. Second thing that I think is important is representation is important. Again, quality is not diminished, but you've got to, in fact, say, if we are going to be a company that will embrace all people, then we need to be a diverse company. You can't have a principle and not follow it. And so that representation is important. Then I think what's critical at your senior levels, one of the things that I talked about at American Express is what I call the handful theory, is each year identify who are high potential people that you can move through the company. So I think you need to have programs and initiatives to cover everyone. But one of the exciting things I believe is that technology can be an incredible enabler to drive diversity in a company. And in fact, the pace of change can be accelerated. But we've got to use technology as an enabler. And the best ways to use technology is when you're very clear about the mission and the objective. So I think my view from a leadership standpoint, the first thing you want to say is, as a company, we want to welcome all people. But the tangible demonstration of that is that I have diverse people in my company. And that has to be an imperative that is felt throughout the company. That's non-negotiable.
The other thing that I would just say, or a couple other things I would say to employers regarding opportunities, creating growth opportunities for their employees, is going back to what I said earlier, focus on skills, right? Create and focus on pathways that reward skills that the employees are acquiring that will allow them to do additional jobs, skills that the employees can acquire that will allow them to take on more responsibility. This skills-based approach to both hiring and advancement is what the 110 Coalition is all about. This notion of making sure that every employee actually has a transparent career pathway is the second piece that I would suggest that we're really learning, particularly through our community of practice work with the 110 Coalition, is that companies have quite a bit of work still to do in creating transparent career pathways, and then investing in the jobs experience and the training that folks need. Last thing I would say is every one of the employees need a sponsor, need a mentor. Black talent certainly needs sponsors and mentors, but all employees within companies need sponsors and mentors. And so it is incumbent upon our employers to make sure they're investing in ensuring that folks have them. It'll be good for the employees, it'll be good for retention and advancement, and frankly, it will make for companies that are growing and prospering even more.
Well said. Look, both of you are inspiring in your own rights. So for a lot of our audience, let's take a couple of minutes on each of you. So Ken, you had an amazing career in corporate America. How did your career evolve and what enabled you to reach the pinnacle?
Just to give you a little bit of background, I grew up in the midst of the civil rights movement in the United States. And I was born 3 years before Brown v. Board of Education, which outlawed separate but equal in the educational system. That clearly were all sometimes accidents of birth. And the reality is I was born at a time, despite prejudice and bias, the door was starting to open up a little bit. But I did not have an aspiration to be in business. I didn't have role models who were in business. And at the time, I thought I was going to be a civil rights leader. And the way I relate that to business is ultimately what became my personal mission was to make a meaningful difference in people's lives. And business for me was a platform. Clearly, I wanted to win in the marketplace. I want to be very, very clear. I'm very competitive. So I wanted to win in the marketplace. But in winning in the marketplace, I wanted to do it in a way that would allow me to make a meaningful difference in people's lives. So I practiced law for 2 years. A friend of mine was at Bain and Company when, in fact, they were just a few years old, and said, "You strike me as someone who would like doing this. What happens at Bain?" And I had no idea about strategy or anything. And what I did when I first got there was I studied accounting at night, and I interviewed clients to find out what their issues were. And then things just sort of came together for me. And then I decided, I was approached to come to American Express, not to, in fact, work in the card business, but at that time, I was going to work for Lou Gerstner, who became the legendary CEO at IBM. And I wanted to work in a joint venture that involved cable. Cable was just emerging, and American Express had a joint venture with Warner Cable. And so I worked in strategy for 2 years, and then I got an opportunity. I had been approached to go into the card business. The card business to me seemed too successful. And people thought they knew it all. It was doing very well. But there was a business that sold merchandise through the mail, and it was losing money. And the head of that business asked me if I would be head of marketing. And Lou Gerstner will confirm this story. I went to Lou. I said, "I want to do this." He said, "It's a big risk. The business is losing money. This could really hurt your career." And I said to Lou, "I'm 27 years old. If this is going to hurt my career, then maybe I should go somewhere else." And what was exciting to me was it was every aspect of a business: marketing, technology, sales, sourcing products all over the world. And we were able to drive that business to profitability. 2.5 years, we increased sales from 150 million to 800 million. And we really built out that business. Think about pre-Amazon. We sold all types of merchandise through the mail. And then I was asked, Lou asked me to go into the card business. And I first said no, because I loved what I was doing. And, but then he was very convincing, and things went well. But I think what's important, Kamal, for me, is I've always had the view that, and it's a mantra that I used at the company, 2 mantras. If you want to lead, you have to be willing to serve. And I had that service mentality. Second was innovate or die. And what's important to me is, in doing that, you have to lead with integrity. You have to lead with passion. You have to lead with integrity. You have to lead with courage. And so I was not one where money was the great objective. I've done very well, but that was not what motivated me. What motivated me was making a difference in people's lives. And frankly, because of that, I think I had the willingness to take risks, but I also understood the responsibility I had to really make a difference in people's lives.
Amazing. Maurice, how are you going to top that? You've had an amazing career in public service. Same question for you. What were the factors that paved your career path? The thing that I'm actually, I've spent some time with you. There's so few young people right now looking to have a career in public service. And now clearly you're actually transforming the workforce in the country. How was your career path growing up?
I think my career path, in all honesty, starts with my being raised by grandparents in a town of 1,200 people on a tobacco farm. And these were grandparents, by the way, who had been denied opportunities because of their skin color primarily. And frankly, because they were living in a small rural town. My grandfather was born in 1914. He went to school for 6 years in a barn. And then he had to go out to work because the county was not going to send a school bus 10 miles outside of town to pick up a little colored boy to take him to school. So he didn't have that option. My grandmother was fortunately born in town and could walk to the local segregated colored technical high school and get her high school diploma. Well, they raised me, and what they wanted for me and from me was, they would tell you, be nice, get all the education you can get, and help people. That's what they would say. That's what they said to me. And so my sort of public service calling, invitation started in their home. And what happened all along the way is, somebody helped me, right? I got a scholarship to go to college. I got a scholarship to go to grad school. I got a scholarship to go to law school. I went to work at a law firm and had a sponsor there who just took me under his wings. And really, if I had wanted to, he would have ensured that I made partner. It wasn't what I wanted to do. And I got fortunate that I got an opportunity to go work for the US Treasury Department. And so I, all along the way, just kept getting reinforcements that I need to do a number of things with my life. I got to make a living and help raise a family, but I also have to use these muscles that I've gotten because of other people's investments in me, an 8th grade science teacher and college professor and others, that I got to use these things to try to be helpful to others. And so I have searched out opportunities like 110 to try to combine both making a living and being involved in serving something greater than myself or my family. And I've just felt quite grateful that these opportunities have been there. So my hope is that young folks will find a way to do both, because you can in life do both. And there are multiple avenues through which you can do both wherever you are. Wherever you are, there's an opportunity to be both a servant of the public and making a living and taking care of your immediate responsibilities. And frankly, in my household growing up, I thought that was what everybody was being told. And so I have to ultimately go back and say thank you to my grandparents. I mean, they are the people to whom I owe everything I have.
I think what I'm learning, and it's so amazing hearing both of you, is both of you defined success very differently than what most of us do. And both of you talked about helping people and serving people, and look at the outcome that's come out in your careers. And now this amazing opportunity with 110. So both of you said first million is simply a milestone, and we'll get there sooner than we know it. So what's after the first million? How do we actually continue the movement that you've started with 110?
I think what's very exciting here, and we're thrilled to have Eightfold on that journey. But I think, frankly, we're going to transform the workforce, and I think the opportunity, one, to provide people with meaningful jobs. We also have to look at what the productivity will be, what the benefit will be to companies is tremendous. Because as we know, if we develop talent for the right jobs with the right capabilities, we become far more productive. And then we think about the societal benefits of providing people who have been denied opportunities or have not been presented with opportunities that will allow them to grow. I think the societal impacts are going to be tremendous. So I really don't think it's hyperbole. It's not going to be with 110 alone, but I think that 110 can be a driving force for the next evolution that has to take place in the workforce. And so the business benefits and the societal benefits, I think, can be massive. And it's an initiative like this, frankly, that gives me some hope that despite the considerable challenges out there, I think what we've got to do is what we do in business is we have to innovate and bring about massive change and not accept the status quo. And so to me, the opportunity to transform the workforce, I couldn't be more excited about that.
Yeah, let me just build on that a little bit. I think this goes back to, your question goes back to a data point I gave you earlier. Look, 76% of Black talent don't have four-year degrees right now. 70% of Black talent who are 25 years of age and older are without a four-year degree. 66% of white talent, 25 years of age and older, don't have four-year degrees. Over 80% of our Latinx brothers and sisters who are 25 years and above are without four-year degrees. So the actual impact and the ability to actually expand the scope here is huge. We solve this issue for this cohort of talent, and we actually make the middle class more open to the vast majority, frankly, of folks living and working and raising a family in our country. And at an even bigger level, the 110 spirit mantra is, this should be about skills first. And that is actually a concept that has transformative implications in the workplace, but it's also a concept that has transformative implications for the country. And again, how well the country really pursues the mission of being a more perfect union. We have to make sure that we're not creating a country where only people who can pay for, afford, have access to four-year degrees. We can't create a country where only those folks enjoy full citizenship rights in the country. And so I think the transformative implications or promise of this 110 journey on the corporate community, as well as the larger American democratic experiment here, is frankly exciting. And it's something I look forward to working my heart out and everything else I have in my fiber to try to make this maximally successful.
Fantastic. Thank you again to both of you, and thank you for giving us the opportunity of joining you on this journey, and really looking forward to beating the million well before in the next couple of years. So Folks, now for one of my favorite things, customer recognition. Our customers have achieved incredible outcomes both for their employees as well as for their organizations. And today we want to recognize a select few who stand out. So welcome to the inaugural Eightfold Awards. And next time when we do it in person, they'll be even grander. So let me introduce Lihia Zamora, our Chief Marketing Officer, and Jen Hunter-Kuhn, our Vice President of Professional Services. Lihia and Jen, over to you.
Thank you, Kamal. Today we're proud to recognize 8 customers across several categories. Our first award category is Most Improved Time to Fill. In today's frenzied hiring environment, the time to fill is becoming an increasingly important metric of hiring success. So Jen?
The Eightfold Award for Most Improved Time to Fill goes to TriNet. TriNet was able to improve its hiring speed by 27%. Time to fill has gone down to an average 56 days so far in 2021. Huge respect, TriNet, and congratulations to you.
Our second Eightfold Award is for internal mobility. This award is given to the company that has retained their most committed and valuable employees and increased their overall productivity. And Jen?
This award goes to Prudential. Prudential has launched internal campaigns and programs committed to internal mobility. The results of these internal programs have been significant. Prudential has realized a 26% improvement in internal mobility and a 16% improvement in cross-department mobility, a substantial benefit to the company, to thousands of employees. Congratulations to everyone at Prudential.
Now, the experience for candidates is the subject of our next award, the Best Candidate Experience Award. Candidate experience is a major contributor to your employer brand. It's what your candidates say about you, and it's imperative to attracting top talent. So Jen, who gets the award this year?
The Eightfold Award for Best Candidate Experience goes to AirAsia. With its personalized career site, AirAsia is exceeding its candidates' expectations by directing each person to the right jobs for them and showing them why each job is a fit, all in just a matter of seconds. AirAsia boasts a candidate experience NPS score of 72, which is an incredibly impressive result. Congratulations to everyone at AirAsia.
And now to one of the more important award categories, DE&I. Diversity, equity, and inclusion have never been more important, both in business and in our society. We at Eightfold are committed to empowering each person to pursue their dreams, no matter their personal background. We actually have 2 winners in this category, 2 companies that both have seen tremendous outcomes using AI to impact their diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. Jen, want to tell us who they are?
So Conagra Brands is our first Eightfold Award winner for DE&I. As the first Fortune 500 company in America to use a personal career site, Conagra has significantly improved its attraction of diverse talent. This increase includes people within its manufacturing facilities as well as its corporate offices. Wonderful job, Conagra. Our second Eightfold Award winner for DE&I is Micron Technology. We recognize Micron for its hiring of military veterans. Veterans are highly skilled and yet often struggle to find their career path when they enter the civilian world. Micron for many years has focused on hiring military veterans so they can realize their potential after their period of service. This veteran hiring program has now been infused with AI. Today, a military veteran can translate their skills into the right job for them at Micron and apply in about a minute. Well done, Conagra and Micron, and thank you for your commitment to DE&I.
Next up is the Eightfold Award for Talent Transformation. Talent transformation is the process of executing change in a company's workforce by ensuring employees have the skills and tools they need to succeed in our global, hybrid, digital, and diverse world. It's an important and long-term commitment critical to a company's future success. So Jen, who does this award go to?
The award for talent transformation goes to Bayer. This over 150-year-old company with almost 100,000 employees embarked on a global, company-wide transformation. Bayer shifted its strategy to focus on the individual, giving each employee the power to create a personalized career journey and the ability to access challenging and meaningful work. Underpinning this strategy, Bayer deployed the Eightfold Talent Intelligence Platform across 26 countries and in 14 languages. Congratulations to the entire Bayer team.
And now, on to our next category, innovation in AI. Here at Eightfold, we're always thrilled to see how our customers are using our AI to meet their talent needs. Jen, who's the winner in this category?
The award for innovation in AI goes to BNY Mellon. This financial institution was founded over 235 years ago, and now BNY Mellon is using AI to evaluate job families, roles, capabilities, and skills, and how this information matches to each employee at every level based on the needs of the business. With this information, BNY Mellon is ensuring they have the right number of people in the right places and roles to lead their business forward. BNY Mellon looks 2 to 3 years into the future and identifies today where talent will be needed tomorrow. They are building a self-learning job library engine that's always validating people's skills, aspirations, and linking back to job and training opportunities. Nicely done, BNY Mellon.
And now on to our final category, the AI Visionary Award. This award recognizes truly novel use of AI to benefit careers and change lives. So Jen, who gets the award this year?
The Eightfold Award for AI Visionary goes to the State of Indiana Department of Workforce Development. The Indiana DWD is the first state workforce development agency to deploy an AI platform to better serve its citizens in finding employment. The Hoosier Talent Network is an AI job matching and career planning site. The platform has more than 135,000 available jobs in the state of Indiana, unlocking the right career opportunities for every Indiana citizen based on their unique potential. Well done, and congratulations to the state of Indiana and to all the citizens of Indiana. Congratulations again to all of our award recipients, and thank you to all of our customers for the incredible work you do finding the right career for everyone in the world.
Celebrating is so much more fun in person, and we look forward to celebrating with all of our award winners at HR Tech in Las Vegas in just a few weeks. So please join us live at the end of September when we will raise a toast to all our award winners. And now, moving on to the breakout sessions. For the next 2.5 days, you have the choice of over 30 sessions to attend across 3 virtual tracks. We'll come back together at 1 p.m. Pacific time for our day 1 closing keynote from Helen Poitevin of Gartner. Then at 2 p.m. Pacific, please stay on for our expert workshops in ethical AI. And thank you again for joining us.